My army is already in the schools. Your job is to wake them up. And I think that's what we've got to do. This half of all public school teachers who have a bit of Christian identity need to be woken up to realize this is a sacred and holy calling. And if they don't wake up, I think we are in deep trouble. I don't know what it is about me and this issue. We talk about our soldiers, and then we say, wow, soldiers are trained to run to the bullets rather than run away from them. And not that I'm looking for trouble, but man, as a public school teacher, that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in a place where kids' minds were getting twisted so I could help untwist them, right? And I could be the opposite influence. And so we are looking to raise up men and women of character, of godliness, of people who are led by the Spirit, who are trained in biblical worldview, to go into the schools and to say, hey, look, we can be a tremendous influence. I mean, these schools often are forced to implement these programs, but they're doing it half-heartedly because they kind of know in their gut that there's something deeply wrong with it. And so often if you're a teacher in a classroom and you just simply, kind of lay that curriculum aside, just kind of don't get to it, kind of along the idea that the state makes me do lots of things, right? I can't get to them all. And so maybe that's one we just don't get to this year, or we put our own spin on it, or we bring in outside sources as our academic freedom allows us to do. And so, there are just so many teachers who are standing in the gap for kids in our public schools. Man, it breaks my heart to think that they are leaving over these issues. I would hope that this would raise up kind of a cry in the hearts of our nation to say, no, I'm going to go into the public schools because of this. I'm going to see this as my mission field. We think about people in the Bible like Daniel and Esther, who were placed in their positions for such a time as this, right? Who were government officials in secular or pagan systems, and probably had to do things that they weren't real happy about doing. In many cases, but God used them in key moments to shift the culture of the entire nation. And I just think, man, there's an army of public school teachers in our schools that are just kind of waiting to get woken up. In fact, one of the ministry initiatives we're doing right now is called Awake. A little bit contrast to woke, but that's not really the point of it. The point of it is we're waking up teachers to their calling as missionaries, to see who God really is and who they really are, their authority in Christ. And then what really their mission is to be ambassadors according to 2 Corinthians 5. And so we are seeing a tremendous response from these Awake days we're doing around the country. And we're kind of trying to raise up that army. When I went into this ministry back in 2015, I was asking the Lord, because I was like, Lord, I love teaching. I'm having a tremendous amount of impact, I feel, in my school. Why would I leave that to go do this ministry with Christian Educators Association? And I felt the Lord said to me, and it wasn't an audible voice, but it was something I very strongly felt in my spirit. He said, Dave, my army is already in the schools. Your job is to wake them up. And I think that's what we've got to do. This half of all public school teachers who have a bit of Christian identity need to be woken up to realize this is a sacred and holy calling. And if they don't wake up, I think we are in deep trouble.